Welcome to It Is What It Is, a true crime podcast. I'm your host, Shamari. How's everybody doing today? It's hump day and inauguration day. I don't know if that excites anybody. I'm not excited, but that's just me. Don't hate you if you are. You do you. But besides that, Debbie Downer, I'm going to tell y'all about the first woman executed in the U.S. in like forever and a million years. And the only reason why is because I just want your all's thoughts, truly. So my aunt sent it to me. I read it and all that jazz. And then by the time I'm done reading it, I'm like, okay, well, bye, Lisa. And then I look into Lisa's background and you learn some shit. Now, does it justify the horrible fucking thing she did? No. But makes you wonder. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm going to tell you. First and foremost, if y'all don't know what she did. So, she murders this beautiful, gorgeous woman named Bobbie JO Stinnett. And she, at the time of her death, was only 23 years old. She's from Missouri, and she's pregnant, 8 months pregnant. Well, she is a rat terrier breeder, dog breeder, and they're the dogs that look like Wishbone, I think. At least this looks like the same dog to me. But anyway, so she's on this group, and when she's on this group, she announces to the group or whatever that she's pregnant. And then next thing you know, this Lisa chick starts messaging her. She says she's pregnant too. So like they're both claiming to be, well, Bobbie Jo is a breeder. I don't really know if Lisa did or not. But anyway, so Lisa's like, hey, I want one of your puppies. And Bobbie Jo's like, okay, great. She tells her mom and her husband, Jeb, love his name. She tells him and the mom, like, this lady is coming by to buy a puppy, look at the puppy, whatever. So I guess they spend some time playing with the puppies and whatnot. They go inside the house. When inside the home, Lisa murders her. And not just murders her. Okay, she pretty much, like, she strangled her. Bobbie Jo comes back, and she's brought back, from my understanding, because at that time, Lisa is cutting her stomach open very poorly and cutting this woman's baby from her womb. Yep. So she does, and she brings with her a knife and the clamp and whatever. So after she's done murdering this beautiful soul, she drives down the road a little bit, she pulls over, she suctions out the nose and all that jazz, and does the umbilical cord clamp, whatever. So she calls her husband and is like, hey, I'm Christmas shopping. What do you know? I had our baby down here at the free clinic. Come get me. I don't know if it was a free clinic, but she said she had it down there. So the husband's like, oh, jolly, good news. And so he goes, he gets her or whatever, and the cops find out very fast, like, what happens. It's like next day shit. When the cops go to her house, she's acting like she just gave birth. Like, she's getting up, she's doing the O's and the moans and the whatever, and all that And they're like, well, let me look at your baby. And so she did. And they're like, okay, this is definitely the baby. This is the first time ever that an Amber Alert was issued for a fetus. Because they didn't know what the baby looked like. They didn't even know if the baby was alive. All they knew is that somebody took this baby to a hospital or something or whatever. They would be alerted. Well, she tells the cops that at first she was like, oh, the clinic story. And then they're like, okay, well, give us like your paperwork or whatever. And she goes, actually, you know what? I had the baby at home because I don't have the money. So it was a home birth. I have no paperwork. Sorry. Well, then they arrest her, obviously. And then they start looking into it. Okay. So she's been investigating and like stalking Bobbie Jo for a long time. 9 months, pretty much. And she even did a dry run that day. She ordered home delivery stuff offline. Googled how to get a birth certificate with a home birth. All that shit. And she has kids. So the thing is what happened is her and her ex-husband, she had been remarried, but her and her ex-husband are in a custody battle. And she's telling everybody that she's pregnant. And this isn't the first time. She's done this multiple times, pretty much to every guy she's been with. And I'm not trying to say that in like a bitchy way, but that's the gist of it. She's constantly doing this. At one time, she even said she was having twins. Like, it's crazy. So, and he's like, her ex-husband's like, dude, the fuck, she is pregnant. That bitch is sterile. She went and had her shit like cauterized and all that jazz. She is not having no babies. Okay? And him and his wife are like, girl, if you don't just give us these kids and like make this custody battle better, we're just gonna tell everybody that you're lying and you're full of shit. And she's like, nope, watch, I guarantee you I'm gonna have a baby. So that's why the need for this was like crazy, like the baby. And you can't, and at that point in time, you can't just go to like the hospital and go kidnap a baby anymore. They had at least done that. I mean, we've at least grown that far, I mean. So, Bobbie Jo is found by her mother. Yeah. Because she can't get a hold of her, and she's supposed to pick her up from work or whatever, so she goes and ends up going, and she's like, I'm going to go find out why. You know, my daughter's 8 months pregnant, and something horrible could have happened. She could be in labor. She could have had the baby at home, blah, blah, blah. When she goes, she finds her baby girl on the floor, and on the phone on 911, she tells them that it seems like her stomach has exploded. So they try to revive her, but unfortunately, she was pronounced dead. And this happened in 2004. In December, okay? So it's like right around the holidays and everything else. Her baby girl is now like 16 years old, I think. 16, 17. Somewhere around there. And she did live. Okay, obviously. The baby lived. The only thing that happened was she had a mark above her eye, they say, from the knife. Because it was fucked up. Like, beyond. So this beautiful woman, like her and this man, Jeb, this was their first baby. Like, he obviously is raising her, but like, what a way, you know? And I hated it every time the show says it, but it's true. Every time this poor little baby girl has a birthday, it's an anniversary of her mother's brutal murder. So she was charged with the federal offense of kidnapping resulting in death. And so what came into federal law in 1932. So it's been around a long time. Okay. So if she is convicted at the time, then she would get either life imprisonment or the death penalty. So prior to her going to court and everything else, they do all the tests and everything else, she is deemed like to have mental issues. She has bipolar, she's depressed, she has post-traumatic stress, and all these things. And then we find out, well, on October 22nd, 2007, she was found guilty of the crime, okay? And on the 26th of October, then she was sentenced to death. Well, her lawyers, the new lawyers, have come and said that what happened in her life what she went through, she shouldn't be put to death, but she should be imprisoned for her life. And they say because that they executed her, even though she did have the bipolar and the trauma, like all the trauma and like all that stuff, that they pretty much broke the law. You know what I mean? Like, you're not supposed to execute anybody who's not of like sound mind and something. And what she went through from a very, very, very young age, and this is what I want your opinion on. Okay, so she, at a very, I'm gonna say, I think it was like 7 or something. I remember a news article or something like that. Her mom would hoe her out, pimp her out, and then the stepfather would gang rape her with all of his friends. And he built a little like room add-on to their trailer, and that's where this would happen. And in the courses of them raping her as a child, they would bash her head into the floor and stuff. So she had a bunch of brain damage. Okay? And her half-sister or stepsister, her sister nonetheless, was like begging President Trump, no longer President Trump, but begging him to give her life imprisonment versus the death penalty. And obviously that didn't happen. And I guess they really went for it. Like, out of everybody sitting there on death row, they were like, you gots to go. And the sister asked, and Trump said no. But just think of that. Like, and they said that the only time that this woman's ever had any type of normalcy or anything else, that she wasn't getting abused, raped, I mean, all these horrible things, the only time that's never happened to this woman was her time in prison. So, I mean, and the sister was like, she was damaged, like she's broken, like we shouldn't have just killed her. What she did is unspeakable. And they say she snapped. But really, why is having a baby that important anyway? Like, I guess, I don't know. I mean, being, from what I understand, very dependent on men because of her trauma. I don't know. It's just horrible. But, and don't get me wrong, you gotta pay for your crime, okay? Like, I get it. And I understand a beautiful life was lost. Now a baby girl has no mom. I mean, a sister was lost, a daughter was lost. Oh, I mean, I get it. And so was her family. I mean, Bobbie Jo's family obviously bears the brunt of the loss and all that. So, and there was interviews with her friends where they were like, get the needle, we don't care. And I'm kind of with them. But at the same time, should we have let her live out her life? But then why do you get to live out your life? You know what I mean? I get what they're saying. I do. She had a very, very shitty life. But that does not excuse what you've done. And why would you be able to live out your life when you just snuffed hers out because you needed your lie to go on? I don't know. What do y'all think? Tell me what y'all think. Because this one, I mean, does it bring everybody justice? I don't know how I really feel about the death penalty, to be completely honest, because there are some people that I'm like, bro, you gotta go. Like, you got to go like yesterday. But then there's other people that I'm like, with enough hugs and enough loves and everything else, maybe you could change and be a different person and everything else. And like, I don't know, do people really change when you've gone through that type of stuff? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It really I mean, obviously there's nothing anybody can do about it. What's done is done. This is already done and happened. She was executed on like the 13th of January. And she was asked if 2021, by the way. And she was asked if she had any final words, and she simply just said no. And she was pronounced dead at 1:31 in the morning. And she's the first person executed in 67 years federally. So, I don't know. So, I was like, well, who else? And so, there's this chick named Kelly who was executed in 2015. And she was executed in Georgia. She murdered her husband. Well, wait. Oh, I guess federal, huh? Federal. I see. Federal's the word that we got to catch on to. The first federal woman executed in 67 years. Gotcha. And she's the first person executed in 2021 because I guess Trump, from what I understand, nobody jump down my throat, his time in office, more people have been put to death in his time in office than anybody else's. I don't know if that's true. I'm not looking into it. That's just what I've heard through watching all the news articles about this. And then there was another chick that was executed by the federal government in 1865. Her name was Mary, and she was a part of the assassination on Abraham Lincoln. She was hung. And then in 1953, some chick named Ethel got the electric chair, and she was a Soviet Union spy. And then Bonnie in 1953, she got the gas chamber, but I don't know, I think hers was really messed up. I think she killed like a little boy or something. Yep, she did. In 1953, so she obviously, we should have killed her, that was fine. But man, don't even know. What do you guys, I don't know, was it serious? Like, should we have let this woman just live out her days and go about her day in prison, but then we end up taking care of her as a people? I don't know. And like, I get it, dude, what she went through as a child must have been hard. Like, legitly never finding love or anything else. And like, at one point in time, the stepsister was like, or the sister was taking all the sexual abuse and like all the abuse and everything else, but then she got removed from the home, and for some reason they didn't take Lisa out of the home, and so it continued to happen to her. As being a child, dude, and being gang raped viciously by grown-ass men, That's where it pulls on my heartstring, because that's a horrible act. But at the same time, girl, you butchered a pregnant woman to cover up a lie. So, I know it's messed up. And like, some people don't believe in the death penalty. And some do. And I'm kind of leaning on the side where I'm like, I don't want to pay forever for you, because like, there's no action that you could have gone through in your life that would make what you've done acceptable in any way, shape, or form. So that can just be taken off the table right there. No one, I mean, there's probably going to be somebody out there that can argue with me and say that Bobbie Jo losing her life was what had to happen, or some bullshit. You know what I mean? That did not have to happen. And you did it in a very, even though there's no humane way, very inhumane way. This poor woman stood up at one point in time. She had blood on the bottom of her feet and between her toes. She fought. She didn't just lie down and take it. She fought. So that tells you something. And imagine just the fear and the trying to figure out in such a short amount of time what is going on. Like, I guess she went up behind her with a garrote, strangled her. She thought that she was dead, started the C-section. Turns out she wasn't. There was a scuffle. They said it even looked like there was like a scuffle within the blood, because there was a ton of blood. And then she was strangled again, and then died, obviously, from blood loss, I'm assuming. So like, oh man, what you did was unbearable, bro. I don't know. I'm afraid to say that it's what had to be done, because it is. Like, yeah, the baby didn't die, and that's good, and she gets to live out her life, but still, not without being haunted with the reminder of what this woman did. At least this woman dying, kind of like the monster's gone. You know what I mean? I don't know. Tell me what y'all think, please. Please, please, please. So that is the murder. The brutal, horrible, horrible murder of Bobbie Jo. And I guess kind of the fucked up life of her killer, Lisa Montgomery. I don't know. Please tell me what you guys think. Because, like, this has been over the discussion of it anyway has gotten taken over by politics. And so I don't do the whole politic thing. So, like, just legitly, what do you think? Without bringing in the whole I hate Trump thing. But for real, should we have, because of the trauma and the horrible childhood and life Lisa lived, should we have let her live her life to the fullest, truly, in prison for the brutal, brutal murder of Bobbie Jo and the kidnapping of her baby? Tell me. And decals will be up for sale around the 25th, 26th, somewhere around that. If you want one, get a hold of me. $3.50. We'll go from there. Other than that, have a good day. Please don't let this Wednesday be a shitty one just because of what's going on in the world. Look within your own lives and try to find something positive. try to do something to take your mind off of it. Thankfully, I'm just gonna sleep the day away and wake up and go to work and do it over again. So, for all you people who are awake during the day, just maybe stay off social media, except for to tell me what your thoughts are. But other than that, try to have a good day. Keep it classy. Each and every one of you.